That's like the exit ramp to quit.
Kyle Idleman is the senior pastor of one of the 10 largest churches in America. Each week, he speaks to more than 25,000 people. Over the years, he's discovered that in the midst of life's challenges and obstacles, the message most people need to hear consists of 3 simple words.
Don't give up.
Kyle shares in his book, Don't Give Up, how the Bible speaks courage and confidence to us when we need it most, and uses life stories where others got back up and kept fighting, even when life got tough.
Well, Kyle Idleman joins us now. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We're
Good
so
to
happy
be
to
here.
have you.
Great to be here.
So let's talk about, you're a pastor.
Okay.
And you often give messages. What is the message that you feel like most people need to hear a lot in their life?
Yeah, so I have all kinds of different situations, right, as a pastor that I'm trying to help people navigate or endure. It could be family, marriage, it could be, finances, or just kind of a season of faith crisis. But I feel like the underlying message that most people need is the don't give up message. Like, don't give up today. Just for today, find your strength in the Lord. And if you can endure, you don't know what tomorrow is going to hold. And so at church, we'll have people come often who want to be comforted, and that's good. But sometimes what they really need is to be challenged. And so that's kind of the heart behind this don't give up is, we need comfort, but what we often need is some courage to get through to the next day.
Yeah, absolutely. So you also say in your book that you kind of have to alter the tone of that message. So talk about that.
Yeah, so the way I think of this is if you're comforting someone, it's going to be kind of an arm around the shoulder and kind of a more of a gentle voice. If you're challenging someone, then it might be more kind of grabbing them by the shoulders and saying, hey, this isn't the time to give up. And an example I use in the book is a coach understands this difference. If a player is tired and weary because they've given it all they've got, you don't say, hey, why don't you have a seat on the bench and have some water and, good job. They'll say, hey, the game's not over yet. Get back in there. You're not going to regret it after the game is over. So for now, get in there and give it everything you have.
Yeah. What is the negative thing about having a victim mentality?
Yeah, so, the negative thing with that is that it closes you off to other perspectives, right? Like you become the center and you're problems and your challenges start to be what your life revolves around. So to break out of a victim mentality, we need a truer perspective. So this is where Hebrews 12 helps us. It tells us, look, when you're struggling, fix your eyes on Jesus.
Yes,
Take your eyes off yourself, put your eyes on him. Sometimes it helps to see things from other people's perspective. So, you ran that video a few minutes ago, and immediately I am humbled by that.
Yeah.
I am challenged by that. It gives me perspective on my own struggles, and that helps me persevere and endure.
Yeah, absolutely. You also mentioned in the book, you talk about the faith heroes in Hebrews 11. And one of those heroes, who is it whose prayer journal helps and teaches us how to pray?
Yeah, so Nehemiah does this for us. What's great about the book of Nehemiah is it really is like a prayer journal, but it's very honest. So a lot of times we hear stories in the Bible and we think everything just went smoothly. As a result, when we're struggling, we interpret obstacles as, oh, God must not be with me, or maybe I went the wrong direction. And that's just not true.
No.
We should expect obstacles. And so Nehemiah, he had obstacles of opposition. People were coming against him. And that wasn't an indication that God wasn't there, but God gave him what he needed to overcome it. He had obstacles of just feeling insufficient. I think most of us can relate to that.
Yeah.
We feel like giving up because we just aren't sure we have what it takes. So we should expect it when those obstacles come, pray our way through it the way Nehemiah did, but understand that don't give up is not, it's not self-talk. It's not, I'm strong enough, I can do this. It is confidence in who God is and in his strength.
Amen. Yeah, that leads us to the next question. I mean, why is it so important to, when you pray and remember the promises of God? Why is that so important to us?
Well, the people that I talk to who really are in a place where they feel like giving up, they are reading from a certain script. And they wake up in the morning and the script they're reading from is, I can't do this. I don't have what it takes. And when we can flip that script with the promises of God, where we can say, you know, I don't have what it takes, but I know who does. I don't have the strength, but I know God does.
Yeah.
If we can take promises about God's power being made perfect in our weakness, it allows us just to read from a different script. And that's incredibly powerful. But it has to be true. It has to be rooted in what God says, not in just wishful thinking.
Yeah, it takes us out of the equation.
That's right.
Yeah, but lets God do the work, which he should.
That's right.
Well, talk about David, another faith hero. How does he make a shift in his prayers that also teaches us to do the same?
Great. So this was really helpful to me personally, and I've since found that it's helped a lot of believers that I know. They pray about a struggle, but the way they pray about that struggle is by telling God all about their struggles. By the time they get done praying, they feel more overwhelmed and anxious than before they started. And they go, well, why didn't prayer work? Well, at some point, and David models this, at some point there has to be a shift where you don't just tell God about your struggles, but you tell your struggles about God, where our confidence goes to who God is. And that faith ultimately isn't about God doing everything we want him to do. It's about confidence in God's faithfulness. And so when we make that shift in our prayers, when we start telling our anxiety about God rather than just telling God about our anxieties, it gives us perseverance.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, what do you want people to take away from this book?
You know, I guess one of the challenges I would have for people is we live in a culture where a don't give up message would be, you know, it's something we hear.
Yeah.
But what's that rooted in, right? Like if it's just you looking in the mirror and telling yourself over and over again, don't give up, well, it's going to get exposed.
Yeah.
Like you can't do that. It has to be rooted in faith.
Amen.
So to not just be content with the positive talk, but to put your confidence in God, and then, you know, a simple prayer that if you just say, God, will you help me today? If you humbly pray that prayer, I believe God responds to it. And so to pray that prayer to God and then ask some people around you the same, that we bear one another's burdens.
Yeah.
I think that can get us through the day.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I think we all need this book. Kyle's new book is called Don't Give Up, Faith That Gives You the Confidence to Keep Believing and the Courage to Keep Going. It's available now wherever books are sold. Kyle, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for this book.